Antarctica, officially classified as a desert due to its extreme dryness, stands as the driest continent on Earth. Its bone-chilling temperatures and relentless winds create an environment of remarkably low humidity, making it harsh and unwelcoming to human life. Yet beneath its icy sheet lies a realm of mysteries that confused modern scientists. From extraterrestrial meteorites to mummified penguins and surprising fish colonies, Antarctica holds discoveries that could revolutionize our understanding of history. Join us as we expose these mind-boggling discoveries from the frozen lands of Antarctica, the hideous space rock. Antarctica's frozen area is a treasure mine of beautiful meteorite specimens, with millions scattered throughout the empty, windswept landscape, maintained by the constantly cold, dry climate that inhibits degradation. This fragile continent has the highest concentration of meteorites on the planet. Among these extraterrestrial fragments, one stood out for its potential scientific significance: Allan Hills, 84,001. This palm-sized black celestial wanderer was discovered in 1984 and encased in ice near the Allan Hills. What began as a regular Antarctic research mission took an unexpected turn that day when a mineralogical investigation revealed that the meteorite differed from typical specimens and bore a remarkable resemblance to Martian soil samples studied by NASA's Viking landers. As researchers dug deeper, they revealed a fascinating story that dates back around 3.5 billion years. An ancient asteroid impact severely blasted the meteorite from Mars, sending it on an interplanetary journey before a lucky arrival in Antarctica. Most provocatively, microscopic examination in the 1990s suggested the presence of minute structures and chemical molecules, although some questioned whether these microscopic traits indicated ancient Martian microbial life, which would be unparalleled evidence of extraterrestrial life forms. The Allan Hills meteorite is not alone in posing significant questions. Fukang, a brilliant golden meteorite discovered in Antarctic ice in 2000, originated in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It has beautiful golden olivine crystals throughout it, weighing almost 1,300 pounds. First, Fukang paints a picture of the magnificent natural beauty that emerges from space. A later study in January 2022 concluded that ALH 84001 did not contain Martian life. The discovered organic molecules were found to be associated with abiotic processes produced on the very early Mars 4 billion years ago instead. Allan Hills 81001 is a fascinating discovery, but the penguin graveyard had researchers scratching their heads about the reasons for their deaths. The killing field of penguins. An incredible find of well-preserved penguin remains dating back over 5,000 years was made by Antarctica researchers in 2016. On the Scott coast, the mummified bodies were discovered south of the Drygalski ice tongue. Digging farther, the researchers discovered layers of fossils, decomposing carcasses that seemed remarkably fresh, and penguin bones. The remnants' radiocarbon dating showed that this location served as a penguin breeding colony for thousands of years, at least 3 different times. Approximately 800 years ago, the last occupancy ended, perhaps due to rising snow levels during the Little Ice Age. About 5,000 years ago, the older penguin residents had better breeding conditions. The harsh conditions in the dry valley were crucial in keeping this frozen instant of time intact. Certain mummified penguins had different qualities compared to others, which suggests that the climate changed over time. This graveyard offers unusual insights into how the ancient penguin dwellers of Antarctica adjusted to shifting conditions over millennia. The discovery of the penguin graveyard left a shocking and confusing impact on the mind. This next discovery was unbelievable, as it dates back 100 years. A century-old ancient fruit dessert found in the frozen lands. 2017 saw the astonishing discovery of a 100-year-old fruit dessert, still in great condition, hidden within a collapsing explorer cabin by Antarctic conservators. The exceptionally well-preserved cake was discovered on Cape Adare, still wrapped in paper and placed on a shelf, after having been left behind by Robert Falcon Scott's Terra Nova expedition in 1911. Conservators said that the fruitcake appeared frighteningly edible, with a leathery texture more similar to brick than sponge cake and a fruity aroma, despite having been abandoned for a century in the harsh temperature of Antarctica. Of course, nobody dared try the old-fashioned pastry for safety and preservation. Antarctica possesses exceptional preservation properties. Even perishable organic matter survives the years in this frozen wasteland. This relic from the golden age of Antarctic exploration is currently housed in the Canterbury Museum in New Zealand. Even after 100 years, the cake was still in perfect condition, which shows how cold the region is. It also highlights the importance of protecting its fragile environment, because we don't know what other amazing things we might find from the heroic age of exploration. The lakes beneath Antarctic ice. Researchers have found that about 400 subglacial lakes are hiding beneath the icy surface of Antarctica, which hides a surprisingly lively world beneath the ice. These mysterious bodies of water have probably been isolated from sunlight for millions of years, existing in total darkness. One of the biggest subglacial lakes on the planet is called Lake Vostok, about the size of Lake Ontario, covered by 2.5 miles of Antarctic ice. These lakes are relics from when Antarctica experienced a completely different climate. Surface waters became buried beneath increasing glaciers as Antarctica cooled into an ice desert. The extreme pressure from the sheer weight of overlying ice allows the lake water to remain liquid at temperatures well below freezing. Some contain unique ecosystems with microorganisms adapted to the alien conditions. Russian scientists discovered an unusual community of animals in Lake Vostok in 2013. Learning about the extraterrestrial universe is fascinating because identifying these creatures challenged our biological knowledge of universal diversity and inspired discussions on this remark. It has a lot of very relevant medical and biotechnological implications. The story of Lake Vostok is truly not just about scientific facts. It can show us this in light of how little we know about our planet. Life can answer it, especially with great inquietude, a mystery under our feet in the layers and folds of ice. Studying these isolated waters provides insights into Antarctica's history. Meanwhile, the search continues for more hidden lakes, with some estimates suggesting over 1,000 exist across the continent. What other finds lurk beneath Antarctica's ice, awaiting discovery? The possibilities remain endless, given that over 90% of the continent's bedrock is obscured. This lake shows isolated systems of interest to the scientific community because such extreme environments, some of which have been separated from ecosystems located at or close to Earth's surface for millions of years, may contain unique life forms. The fish colony in the icy river. Scientists studying the Weddell Sea in Antarctica in 2021 discovered a flourishing hotspot for ice fish, one of the planet's most unusual animals. Since it has evolved to survive without hemoglobin during routine seafloor surveys, this species is the sole vertebrate with transparent blood. When a massive breeding colony of icefish was discovered, researchers were astounded. The researchers recorded almost 60 million active nests, making the network of nests spanning 149 miles of seabed, or roughly the size of Malta. There were up to 2,500 eggs in each nest, and an adult icefish cared for each egg. This is recorded as among the greatest animal herds that were discovered. The vibrant city of icefish is a critical lifeline to Antarctic wildlife, which depends on it for food. The area usually supports more than 90% of the Weddell seals. The finding fills in the major gap in the conservation of this ecosystem. That no one knew that such a great number of her fish lived on the ice before this discovery blew my mind. Besides, it helps to expand our knowledge of the food web of the Antarctic continental shelf with its wide biodiversity. The vulnerability of icefish species to fluctuations in water temperature signifies its role as a key indicator in tracking the condition of the Southern Ocean. As de facto ecosystem engineers, these translucent organisms and their nesting sites deserve protection and study. According to the researchers, the findings reveal a globally unique ecosystem and how little is known about the ocean depths. The Gigantic Squid expenditure. With so few sightings of the huge squid documented in 2022, it is one of the most mysterious species in the water. A revolutionary mission was set out to solve the mysteries surrounding this huge creature. The nonprofit Colossal is leading the project in collaboration with marine biologists and polar tourism companies. Before 2025, they want to have effectively seen and studied living giant squid in their native Antarctic habitat. The largest invertebrate on Earth, the colossal squid, can reach lengths of over 40 feet. It lives in an alien realm over 6,000 feet below the ocean's surface. To access this harsh environment, an expedition with specialized cameras and lights will be used to closely study these huge creatures. Researchers hope to understand their anatomy, vision, feeding habits, ecology, and behaviors better. There are still unanswered concerns regarding the squid's use of its basketball-sized eyes and whether or not it is bioluminescent. This mission aims to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the discovery of the giant squid in 2025 by revealing previously undiscovered details about one of the most amazing cases of gigantism in the animal kingdom. Discovering these mysteries will shed light on predator-prey relationships and deep-sea adaptation. The unique discovery of this lost wallet was the owner, as it remained as he left it. The forgotten wallet. In an amazing story over 50 years, a wallet lost in Antarctica in the 1960s was miraculously returned to its owner in 2021. The wallet belonged to Paul Grisham, a former Navy meteorologist stationed at the McMurdo Station in Antarctica in the late 1960s. During his stay on the cold continent from 1967 to 1968, Grisham accidentally left his wallet at the science station. The wallet stayed hidden behind a locker, properly maintained in Antarctica's constantly cold climate. Over 45 years later, in 2014, workers demolished a structure at McMurdo Station and discovered the aged leather wallet trapped in tears. The wallet held receipts for beer ration punch cards, bills for money sent to his wife, bits and pieces of Grisham's life and service, and more. Even with this wealth of data, much detective effort is required to find the 91-year-old Grisham in the present era. After extensive searching, Air Force veteran Stephen Decatur embarked on a 6-year journey to locate the original owner. In 2020, Decatur made contact with Graham at last. Considering how little it had been, Graham was shocked to see his long-lost wallet among the returned belongings. When Grisham discovered the homemade Kahlua recipe he had kept while on the ice, he was particularly shocked. The worn wallet is a time capsule of the 13 long months Grisham served in the Antarctic. Earth's extremes never cease to amaze researchers as they publish the most detailed map of Antarctica's frigid Southern Ocean, including its new deepest point, Factorin Deep. In 2019, researchers mapping the Southern Ocean's seafloor in Antarctica discovered the Factorin Deep, the planet's lowest spot at 2,400 feet below sea level. The South Sandwich Trench, off the coast of Antarctica, contains the newly called Abyss. Explorers used inventive robotic submersibles, such as the well-known limiting factor, to reach these Stygian depths. Compiling more than 1,200 separate sonar mappings, the first comprehensive bathymetry map of the Southern Ocean bottom was produced. This unveiled the trench's complete shape, a 600-meter-long rift in the ocean floor bordered by 2 tectonic plates situated along the icy gap that divides South America and Antarctica. The Factorin Deep's finding broadens our understanding of Antarctic undersea geography. It also emphasizes how little of the world's seabed has been measured directly. With the illumination of more of Antarctica's deep marine realm, new and ambitious mapping programs such as Seabed 2030 aim to address this by jointly canvassing the whole ocean floor within the next 10 years. Who knows what additional abysses are hidden in the freezing depths and how they adapt to harsh environments. The thriving food web. In the South Pole, the microscopic creatures known as phytoplankton are the base of the marine food web. These small drifters are amazingly prospering throughout the coastal seas of Antarctica, despite the continent's reputation as a freezing wasteland. Permanent sea ice was thought to block off too much sunlight for significant phytoplankton growth, according to scientific beliefs, for many years. However, new study techniques have revealed the truth. Underwater robots and satellites, such as NASA's IceSat-2, revealed that Antarctica's ice pack is riddled with cracks and openings that allow sunlight to filter down. These microscopic phytoplankton have adapted to capitalize on any sliver of light, multiplying across meltwater surface layers and blooming spots. Like swaying grasslands on land, phytoplankton meadows carpet Antarctica's illuminated seascapes. Scientists are beginning to see the big picture of how phytoplankton have adapted to the harsh conditions of the sea ice zone. The entire food chain in the Southern Ocean, including shrimp like krill, whales, penguins, and seals, depends on these tiny photosynthetic drifters. Discovering the secrets of phytoplankton resilience, even in the deepest parts of Antarctica, illustrates how life uses intelligence to adapt to harsh environments. The restricted area. An obscure area of Antarctica known as the Forbidden Sector is only accessible to those with permission. The Antarctic Treaty System controls the Forbidden Zone, which protects the continent for peaceful scientific study. Conspiracy theorists believe that this remote region of the ice continent has unusual mysteries. According to officials, the restricted area shields emperor penguin nesting sites from human disturbance. Because of the mystery surrounding the area, many people theorize that covert operations occur there. Some think that hidden bases study extraterrestrials using exotic energy sources or cutting-edge technologies, while others believe that covert excavations are taking place to look for the remnants of ancient civilizations buried beneath the ice. Governments, of course, deny these notions, but offer no additional information regarding the blacklisted industry. For now, its isolation from populated areas just furthers the mystery. The secrets buried beneath the ice in this no-fly zone of Antarctica await discovery until transparency is granted. Until then, the banned sector will continue to stoke intense curiosity over what might be hiding in this remote corner of Antarctica. As long as something remains hidden, humans' curiosity will never fade. The mysterious death of Rodney Marks remains one of them. True crimes at the South Pole. The first and only strange death in Antarctica's history occurred to Australian scientist Rodney Marks in 2000. The seasoned researcher unexpectedly became sick while wintering at the isolated South Pole station that year. In a matter of hours, his health rapidly fell, and at the age of 32, he unfortunately passed away. High methanol concentrations were found in his system after an autopsy. Such a concentration of a hazardous substance is probably impossible to consume, mistakenly. The cause of the methanol was completely unknown, and Marks had no reason to consume it on purpose. Authorities suspected foul play, and his shocking death sparked the first and only criminal investigation on the frozen continent under Australian jurisdiction. The difficult inquest relied on forensic experts from the New Zealand police, but conducting forensic analysis in Antarctica's harsh conditions proved extremely difficult after numerous interviews produced few leads. As a result, the case was closed in 2007. The circumstances surrounding Mark's mysterious death remain hidden in perceptual uncertainty, and the case has been dropped due to a lack of evidence. While there is constant speculation about whether or not the methanol was administered on purpose, the truth about what happened on that day in 2000 at one of the most remote locations on Earth, seems destined to remain forever on ice. The crime remained unsolved, as did other mysteries in Antarctica, such as the big hole in the Antarctic ice sheets. Huge colossal holes in Antarctic ice sheet. A recurring polynia in the sea ice of Antarctica, known as the Maud Rising Hole, has been dormant for 40 years. However, in 2017, this polynia resurfaced. This huge area, called a polynia, was larger than the state of Maryland. When the polynia reached its peak of coverage, it had become the second largest ice-free breach in Antarctica's seas since precise records began in the 1970s. The recurrence of this event occurs due to the overflowing and melting of surface sea ice from a warm, deep sea rich in nutrients. However, scientists need help understanding the reason behind this irregularity. It appeared annually from 1974 to 1976, with its exclusive disappearance for 2 decades. Experts predict the cycle of the polynia to be significantly more complicated, considering human interference in the Southern Ocean. To get a grasp of what makes and sustains the dynamic momentary openings in the icy water in Antarctica is a real challenge to the marine ecosystem. Polynias provide sunshine and air to permeate, thus enhancing phytoplankton bloom and spreading the food chain. Through figuring out the polynia's mysteries, we can understand the climate change shifts in Antarctica and their impact on marine life. Despite the recent climate changes, the most recent polynia opening did not achieve the level of those in 1970. But with more polynias, a new heat source might amplify the modern threat to the greatest store of ice on the planet. Frozen pyramids of Antarctica. This little Antarctic archaeological site can change the course of human history. There have long been rumors that old pyramid constructions can be found in Antarctica, and new information may validate these rumors. Partially hidden beneath Antarctic ice, a precisely planned pyramid was discovered via satellite imagery in 2016. The Great Pyramid of Giza is mirrored in the pyramid's slope face and geometric design. But even the tallest Egyptian pyramids would be dwarfed by this Antarctic building, standing over 900 feet tall. The anomaly is located hundreds of miles from the ocean in Antarctica's Ellsworth Mountains, whose peaks rise through the ice sheet. There are theories that human construction may have caused this anomaly. Of course, mainstream science prefers ordinary interpretations. Some believe the pyramid is proof of advanced pre-human Antarctic civilizations. Others are certain that alien intervention created it as a monument or outpost. They suggest that the pyramidal rock originated using pre-existing bedrock joints and natural weathering processes. The huge pyramid of Antarctica is an everlasting mystery at the bottom of the world, but its amazing scale and architectural precision keep conspiracists speculating about whether any artifacts or connections to its architects are entombed inside. Perhaps one day, we will discover the truth about its beginnings, just like the 66-million-year-old egg that was found. The 66-million-year-old egg. Discovered in 2011, to the amazement of Chilean experts, it was the largest fossilized reptile egg ever discovered in Antarctica, measuring over 11 inches in length. After being named The Thing, this mysterious 66-million-year-old egg baffled scientists for years, until hints emerged suggesting it most likely came from the volcanic emergence of a massive marine reptile known as a mosasaur. Mosasaurs were apex predators, occupying a niche similar to that of current sharks. They were carnivorous aquatic lizards that flourished throughout the late Cretaceous, coexisting in the same waters as dinosaurs and pterosaurs that grew over 50 feet long. The thin shells and egg proportions imply special adaptations mosasaurs make to enable them to reproduce at huge sizes. The female mosasaur is said to have come ashore to lay her eggs before assisting the newly hatched offspring in making their way quickly to offshore seas. The skeletal remains of adult mosasaurs and plesiosaurs discovered nearby provide evidence. Young mosasaurs would have been at risk from predators such as Tyrannosaurus rex when on land. This remarkable egg can provide rare insights into the mating habits and reproductive strategies of these prehistoric sea leviathans. Regarding Antarctic paleontological potential, Chilean scientists believe this is the tip of the iceberg. Mosasaurs and other Cretaceous behemoths surely left behind additional clues that are patiently imprisoned in Antarctic ice, ready to be unearthed. Rumors are speculating that the Polynesians were the first people to discover Antarctica. Is this true? Let's find out. Antarctica and Polynesian seafarers. According to new research, ingenious Polynesian explorers may have discovered Antarctica centuries before the famous European explorers. Conventionally speaking, the heroic period of Antarctic exploration is credited to Russian Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen, who in 1820 made the first known mention of the continent. On the other hand, a revisionist perspective attributes the discovery of the cold Antarctic waters to Polynesian explorers around 600 years ago. This incredible possibility arises from the translated Maori chronicles of a chief called Hui Te Rangiora, who, according to myths, traveled a great distance south in the year 658. Some academics think that because Ad returned with tales of massive icebergs and flows, Hui Te Rangiora made it to the edge of Antarctica. This is supported by the elaborate carvings on bone and wood that show what appears to be ice-covered land. This finding would represent a significant re-evaluation of Antarctica's discovery, acknowledging resourceful Pacific Island sailors with navigating abilities comparable to those of native Arctic peoples. Equipped with celestial navigation and knowledge of marine passages closed to future generations, these explorers established the huge Pacific, trailblazing one of the final unexplored frontiers of Earth centuries before other civilizations. The history of the adventurous Polynesians deserves recognition. The DNA of ancient microorganisms estimated to be around 1 million years old has recently been found on the Scotia Sea's seafloor near Antarctica. The mystifying million-year-old DNA. Researchers have retrieved DNA buried under Antarctica waters that dates back 1 million years, an extraordinary evolutionary discovery. This historic genetic material provides an amazing view of over 1 million-year-old extinct Antarctic marine life. In Antarctica's Scotia Sea, 584 feet below the surface, seafloor sediment is where the age-defying DNA was found. The sample comes from an era 800,000 years earlier than the oldest DNA previously found, although it is unclear which specific creatures the DNA derives from. The samples come from Middle Pleistocene-era microbial eukaryotes that lived in Antarctica's waters. Due to Antarctica's perfect preservation circumstances, the DNA could persevere for an incredible amount of time. The genetic echoes originate from microbial eukaryotes that lived in Antarctica's oceans during the Middle Pleistocene, although the precise source organism is yet unclear. Because of Antarctica's extreme cold and glacially slow sediment accumulation rate, genetic data from various geological ages has been preserved in a frozen archive. Organic matter has also survived millions of years in Antarctica, largely undamaged. According to a scientist, every cell is a time capsule. This groundbreaking research highlights Antarctica's enormous potential for uncovering evolutionary stories from its historic past. The continent harbors countless additional genetic hints that await discovery as advances in remote sensing and drilling methods enable researchers to anticipate uncovering multi-million-year-old Antarctic creatures, such as 40-million-year-old mosses. This alien, cold environment probably contains an unexplored wealth of biological history within its permanently frozen divisions. The eerily gory waterfall is not made of blood, and a new study reveals what gives it its unique color. Mystery of the Blood Falls. Researchers have long been impressed with the blood-falling icy red rashes in Antarctica's McMurdo Barren valleys. This odd waterfall flows into the freezing waters of Lake Bonny from the face of the Taylor Glacier. The deep red liquid of the waterfall sharply contrasts with the icy white surroundings, giving the impression that blood is pouring. Bloodfall's horrifying appearance was the subject of decades-long discussion among scientists, with early theories linking it to the presence of red algae. Nevertheless, photosynthetic algae are an unlikely source due to the severe circumstances found in the dry valleys. There were other theories, such as iron mineral oxidation or strange microorganisms. In 2017, the mystery was finally solved when researchers used radar equipment to see inside the glacier that supplied bloodfalls. They found that the striking crimson color was caused by an iron-rich hypsaline liquid from an old lake below the surface. This brine was once part of an ancient lake, but is now completely enclosed beneath the glacier. Over millions of years, as water escaped as ice, the trapped brine became more and more saline due to salt concentrations. This, along with the high iron content, allows the subglacial liquid to remain in fluid form despite average temperatures of 17°C. When the iron-rich brine at Blood Falls comes into contact with oxygen, it oxidizes and turns red. Thanks for watching. What do you think about these archaeological sites in Antarctica? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting videos like this.